Insik Miniandi is a freelance software consultant in Malaysia who operates his business as a sole proprietor. For the year of assessment 2024, he submitted his Form B on time and claimed RM 40,000 as a deduction for business traveling and entertainment expenses. Everything seemed fine until 15th December 2025, when the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, IRBM, conducted a tax audit. During the audit, IRBM discovered that Insik Miniandi could not provide any supporting documents, such as invoices, receipts, logbooks, or business records to prove that the RM 40,000 expenses were genuinely incurred for business purposes. As a result, IRBM disallowed the entire deduction and issued a Notice of Additional Assessment Form JA, requiring Insik Miniandi to pay additional tax. However, Insik Miniandi strongly believed the decision was unfair and claimed that the tax officer had been too strict. The audit also uncovered a much more serious issue. Insik Miniandi had intentionally failed to declare RM 30,000 of consultancy income that he received in a foreign bank account. He believed that because the money was kept offshore, IRBM would never discover it. This act raised concerns of tax evasion under the Income Tax Act 1967. After receiving the Notice of Additional Assessment, Form JA, on 15th December 2025, Insik Miniandi disagreed with IRBM's decision to disallow his RM 40,000 business expense claim. Under the Income Tax Act 1967, he has the right to challenge the additional assessment by filing an appeal. To do so, Insik Miniandi must submit Form Q within 30 days from the date the notice was issued. Since the notice was issued on 15th December 2025, the deadline to submit the appeal is 14th January 2026. The appeal must be addressed to the Special Commissioners of Income Tax, CIT, through the Director General of Inland Revenue, IRBM. Once the appeal is submitted within the prescribed time, the case will be reviewed and the Special Commissioners will determine whether the additional assessment should be maintained or amended. If Insik Miniandi fails to submit Form Q within the required 30-day period because he was hospitalized, he may still request an extension of time to file his appeal. Under Section 100 of the Income Tax Act 1967, he must submit Form N and provide a valid reason for missing the deadline. In this case, hospitalization is considered a reasonable excuse, and the application for an extension will be considered by the Special Commissioners of Income Tax as SIT. If the application is approved, Insik Miniandi will be allowed to proceed with his appeal even though the original deadline has passed. During the tax audit, IRBM discovered that Insik Miniandi had intentionally failed to declare RM 30,000 of consultancy income received in a foreign bank account. He believed that by keeping the income overseas, IRBM would not detect it. However, this act constitutes tax evasion under the Income Tax Act 1967 because he deliberately omitted taxable income from his tax return. As a result, IRBM may issue an additional tax assessment on the undeclared income and impose penalties for submitting an incorrect tax return. Since the omission was intentional, Insik Miniandi may also face prosecution under the Income Tax Act 1967. If found guilty, he could be subject to substantial fines, imprisonment, or both, depending on the severity of the offense.